Hello, everyone. Yeah, and today I wanted to talk to you a bit about confidence. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is I saw someone on Twitter, and to be fair, I see this a few times on Twitter, which is people who, for whatever reason, like they want to draw or they want to write or they want to do something, and the block that comes isn't so much that they don't have the ideas, but there's a confidence issue. So I wanted to give a few tips to kind of help with confidence, with what, being able to kind of get things done, get it down. Now, the most basic, which we've covered in a previous video, is to kind of get a routine down and to try and stick to that routine as much as possible. But of course, what happens if mentally you're not feeling it, like there's an emotional reaction and that is stopping you from doing what you want to do? Now, the thing that I would say to that is there's a few things that you can do. Number one is to take a break, to get away from your computer, get away from what you're doing for a bit, go for a walk, go somewhere, but like kind of get yourself away from what you're doing for a minute. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to like go all out and turn your phone off, but it might help. So, read a book, watch a film, sit and have a coffee somewhere, read a paper, something where you kind of click off for a second. Because often I find that if you do that for a bit, it can help you out, and it can give you that minute or two to kind of just take a breather and then come back to what you're doing, and that will usually work. I mean, okay, it won't work every time, and if you're going through something, and now this is the next step, which is if you're going through, say, something personal that's very difficult. Now, there are things out there that can help with that. So, for example, you can contact the Samaritans and say, I'm having this problem, and they will listen to you. And I think that's the thing. I think that's important. I think having someone listen to you, and sometimes, if you know a friend that you can trust, vent to them, because that is totally fine. And I think kind of getting that baggage out of you can help as well, because often these things can kind of have an impact on what you're doing. And for me, I mean, I have had in the last couple of years a couple of things that have impacted on my confidence, and it does hurt you, and it does kind of make you wonder, like, can I do this? Can I, carry on with what I'm doing? And what I did, so, bit of a story. So, one of the reasons that we're rebooting the comic is because of the issues that we'd had with how the comic was set up, and obviously, like I say, certain other things that happened involving a certain video, blah blah blah. You can easily look that up. You know what I'm talking about. And the thing is, it took me a minute to kind of take a step back and realise, like, what do I want to do? How can I kind of get back to this? And I realised that I needed to change how we worked. I needed to change what we were presenting to people, so in effect kind of building on the feedback people had given us, so saying that, oh, this story's hard to follow, or the art needs to be more consistent. So it's like, okay, we will correct this and this, and we will do a graphic novel once a year rather than trying to do constant issues. And so we've been doing sort of other content in between and working with different people at the same time, and that I find helped. It kind of, we did surveys, we did feedback, we kind of found out what people wanted to do, and it gave us an idea of what people wanted, but equally how to do things better. And I think you don't necessarily need to do a survey, you don't necessarily need to go through like a whole big break. You can equally just talk to your friends, you can go on a forum. There are options where you can kind of take a step back and think, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Now, from another point of view, in terms of being able to present yourself, so for example, going to a convention or go to a meetup, there are different things, and again, people can feel nervous about kind of meeting people and interacting, and there is a method to help with this, and you're probably going to think this is weird, but trust me, give it a go. Improv classes. Improv is brilliant for a number of things. Number one, because the act of performing kind of helps you loosen up. Improv also helps when it comes to, because I think a lot of us have this kind of logical side to us where we think, oh, what about this, this and this, whereas improv is very freeing. It allows you to kind of think what you're doing and think where you're going with something. And I really recommend it for that. I mean, equally because it's a social activity and meeting people as well, and I think any social activity helps with that. But I think the thing is with improv in particular, it's having to kind of react to what someone else is saying and working off them, and it's a little intimidating at first, but once you get used to it, it really kind of helps free you a bit and kind of give you that boost, that little bit of extra confidence to say, right, I can do this, I can do what I want to do. And like I say, you don't need to go to masses of them. There are local ones where you just go a couple of times and give it a try, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fair enough. But the point is, it is possible. It is possible to develop this confidence. It's not just... there are some people who are naturally more confident than others, and also as well, there are people that are more confident in different situations. So, for example, I like to perform. I like to do stupid stuff. I like going on stage. I like acting. I like I say, comedy and things. But things that involve, more kind of personal interaction, I sometimes have issues with, and sort of communicating something with someone where it's like quite an emotional issue. I do have problems with that, and it has, again, caused problems. But again, it is something, I've had coaching and I've tried to deal with that, and again, it's like, I'm not saying I'm, it's like, I am incredibly centered and I can do whatever I want. I'm not saying that, and I'm not, I can make you better. It's like, we all have to work on these things, and of course, as I say, the other thing as well is, you can go too far the other way. You can just sort of want to put yourself left, right and centre and make people feel uncomfortable, and again, that's the other side of it, where you have to be kind of aware of how people are reacting to you. And again, it's not an easy thing, and we all have to work on it, and try to remember that not everyone wants to get involved. Like I've made that mistake before, but not everyone wants to join in, not everyone, but let them know, if you want to come along to this, you're welcome, but don't make people feel like they have to do stuff, because that can make them uncomfortable as well. As with anything, it's balance. And again, another thing about confidence and sort of things, remember, for example, if someone puts up artwork online, you do have a level of responsibility. When someone posts something and they want to share it and they're excited, try and be tactful. So if they ask for advice, give them advice, but just because you have a point doesn't mean you hammer it, doesn't mean that you get nasty about it, because you might think by doing that you're helping them, but you're not. People sort of talk about like the sandwich effect, where you sort of say a positive thing first, then the negatives, then a positive at the end. I wouldn't simplify it that much, but try and look at what someone is trying to do and say, okay, I can see this is what you're trying to do, and then try and encourage them to say, have you considered this, this and this? Because you want people, well, at least I hope, you want people to do things better, and you want them to move on and develop, not, as I say, just sort of say your piece and run off, because I'm hoping what you want is that people do the best stuff that they can do, that is the thing that they want to say, it's the picture they want to paint or the story that they want to tell, and you respect that. And I think that is the thing I think people need to be wary of. And it's, like I say, especially if someone posts something up and they're excited and they haven't asked for advice, maybe don't give them advice. And again, it's a difficult thing. As we said before, try and read what someone's doing. If someone's going I've just picked up this thing and I'm so excited, like it, smile. But if they say, I've just posted this and I'm not sure, whether or not this works, or what do you think? Give them the advice. But again, And like I said, I'm not saying this as a social justice warrior thing. I'm not saying this as a, oh, we've all got to be sensitive. No, it's not that. It's just, for me, I always believe in golden rule with these things, which is, how would you feel? So if you honestly think that if someone gave that same reaction to you and was brutal and horrible to you, but they sort of had a good point and you were alright with that, fair enough, but I've got to be honest, I don't believe you. Yeah, I'm saying it. I don't believe people say, oh, I'd tell it like it is, me. It's like, often you'll find with those people, if you do tell it like it is, they don't like it. That is what I've generally found. Now, you can say I'm wrong on that. I'm just going by personal experience. So, like I say, this is the important thing. And like I say, I don't know what you're going to take from this, but I want people to do the things they want to do. I think that's the important thing, and it's like, get it out, because that is the key thing. It's like, it's easy to kind of poke fun at stuff that's already out there. It's a lot harder to create something and get it out there. So if someone's trying to do that, try and encourage them as much as possible, because this is something that they love. And like I said, and it doesn't even matter what it is, if it's a poem, if it's fanfic, if it's art, if it's a commission, if it's fan art, whatever it is, if that person wants encouragement, if you can, give them encouragement. If they want advice, give them advice. But try and read them and try and be supportive. That's all I'm saying. And like, as I say, confidence is something that people, need help developing. And I found it, and I think most people on some level do. Like, even people who on the outside seem very confident will often have moments where they've got something difficult that they have to deal with, and you don't necessarily know that. And if you can do that, if you can get through these things and help people develop, but do so, like, let's say, in a positive way, still give them the advice if they need it or ask for it, but just think how you say it as well, because you want people to do better. So that's that. Before I go, there's still about a week to go on our merchandise design contest, and I want to say a big thank you to Belinda Brown from Green Farm Coffee, who's going to be judging it. We've had a couple of awesome entries already, but like I say, if we can get more, I'll be really happy, because the last couple of contests we have had some incredible entries. And also, I just want to say this as well, because again, it ties in with the comic and it ties in with the characters, is if you need help, ask for it, and you can often hear like the voices that can knock your confidence. Please don't, you can do this, you do have it in you, and I believe in you. Have an awesome day. Bye.